Yo, what's good, everyone? It's your boys, Jimmy, Daz, and Deffer. All right, chaps.
Hello.
Oi, look who we're joined by today.
Oh, wow.
We are stoked to be joined by axe shredding maestro, Mr. Ronny Lee Marks from Upon Stone. Ronnie, thanks for taking some time to join us this evening, dude.
Thank you guys for having me. Very
Oh,
stoked.
absolute pleasure, man. I can't tell you how many times I've listened to Dead Mother Moon so far. Honestly, like it's part of my DNA now, I think.
That's awesome.
Yeah, if you was to cut me open, blue, red blood. Is it? So the album's been out, gosh, literally just a month now, isn't it? Tomorrow. Um,
Yeah, I think so, huh? Yeah, shit. Yeah, crazy.
you've got to be stoked, man, with the reception it's received. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been like super crazy cool and like a little overwhelming. I don't think any of us thought it was going to be like this well perceived. I mean, obviously we wanted it to do good, but I think all of us were kind of just like, yeah, like people will probably dig it and like we'll probably get a couple decent good reviews or whatever on it, but like the amount of people that we've been seeing sharing it as like album of the year or like album of the year contender, and
Yeah, yeah.
it's like yo, hold on. There's a lot coming out that's probably gonna smoke it, but just like the fact that people are even like considering that is just like so cool and like humbling and sick. So we're all super stoked.
Yeah,
So
man, like it's so deserved. Like I don't think I've seen one review that hasn't been like just
yeah,
overwhelmingly positive. It's
there's been a couple for sure,
oh
which is like,
really?
it's like you're not going to win them all, which
Yeah,
is
of course.
fine.
Yeah.
But the amount of like just very positive reviews has and you know what, to be honest, it's like the reviews are great and all, but like honestly, it's just been like people on like Twitter and just like Instagram and like
Yeah.
Facebook who have just been like, that's the shit that really matters. And it's just like they've all been so supportive and sick about it. So it's been awesome. Yeah, we're all super stoked.
That's wicked,
So
man. Like so Where the Wild Sorrows Grow came out in 2021, didn't it?
mhm.
Was it just circumstances given like the state of the world as it was at that time for the sort of the gap between the EP and the album? Because after the EP, we were like, oh my God, I can't wait for there to be a full length. And then obviously it's been a couple of years in the work. So
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Essentially, what happened was like Xavier wrote that EP like at the beginning of lockdown.
mm,
Um, and I think when he did it, it was kind of just like, I just want to make this EP because like this is like one of my favorite genres, and like I don't think he even really cared if it like really went anywhere, and he was just like, I
oh
just want
wow.
to do it. He hit up Wyatt, who did all the drums on it, and he wrote all the lyrics for it, and they hit me up being like, hey, would you want to like record guitar for this? And it was like, the beginning of the pandemic, and I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, like I've known these guys forever, and there's like, might as well right now, there's nothing going on, it's sick.
Yeah.
Like he wrote an awesome EP, and so we were kind of fortunate enough that like I think by the time we finished it and like released it, I think shows like started to slowly come back. Um and we did like some first couple shows. We actually recorded To Seek and Follow the Call of Lions as a single, like I think like a year or two later.
Yeah.
Um and then yeah, we spent a lot of time like writing because we knew, I think the next thing we wanted to do was like another album. So yeah, I don't think it was really planned on the kind of gap in between. I think that's just kind of how it ended up.
Yeah, it's cool
So
because it's kind of like organic that way, isn't it? Like
yeah, for
no
sure.
no rush to get something out off the back of it. Because um I know like that EP went down really, really well, and it was just like, oh shit, there's this. Have you heard this new band, Upon Stone? Like it, and the album is such a cool continuation from that
Yeah,
EP.
thank
Like
you.
Yeah, it really is. So, how did the songwriting process for Dead Mother Moon work? Do you all chip in riffs and ideas, and um are you like a band that jam stuff out in a practice space, and work on songs that way? Or
So like for this album, this was a very, very collaborative album. Like as the first EP, that's all Xavier. Actually, the little acoustic interlude that's on the album, I think that was Wyatt. Wyatt wrote that one.
oh,
The
wicked.
funny thing is Wyatt wrote like uh he Dusk Sang Ferris is like his song essentially, and like he wrote and performed that like acoustic um interlude that's in the middle of the song. But it was a very collaborative album. Like we'd have ideas and songs and riffs kind of on our own, and we'd meet up at my place and we would like demo them out, and one song would be kind of like much more one person song, and we'd all kind of like pick at it and add little things, take away little things, and kind of back and forth between all the other songs. And there's a couple that are like more collaborative where like everyone's DNA is all over it.
Yeah,
One's is like another person's a little more and stuff, but overall like a very, very collaborative album. And yeah, we had a really fun time. We were just kind of basically just hanging out, writing it at my place and just demoing it and stuff like that. So,
that's
but
so
never so much a band where we'd go and like jam stuff out or anything like that.
okay. It's cool to have. I, I mean, imagine just the fun you guys writing that as just like love letters to all your favorite bands. Like
Yeah.
it must like it must be so fun writing songs like that. Just like, oh, like you. I know you're heavily influenced by Gary Moore, and just being like,
Yeah.
I wonder if I can get a solo in there that gives me that feel that I had when I first listened to them. Or
I
like the
mean,
Dusk
that's,
Sang Fairest is like the folky,
yeah.
just a racy kind of just
Yeah.
it must just be so much fun writing that kind of
Yeah.
style.
I mean, that I feel like that's essentially like the gist of this band was all of us kind of met and like bonded over like the love of like of the same bands and just similar bands, and like yeah, we just kind of wanted to write a love letter to all of our favorite bands, and it was just fun. We were just writing to have fun. You know we're not trying, a lot of the reviews, you'll see that they're not reinventing the wheel, and it's like, well, we're not trying to, man. We're just trying to write a good fun album, and
Yeah,
yeah,
bro,
so
the wheel works perfectly well as it is, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
it ain't squeaking, man.
Yeah, that's it. Like, something I wanted to touch on. We talked about it when we spoke about the album, mate, when we did our album roundup show.
Mhm.
There's so many bands out there that try that style of melodic death metal, but what they don't capture is the magic and the mysteriousness and the vibe of those records. And you guys fucking absolutely like nailed that. Like this album sounds timeless. Do you know what I mean? Like could have come from any point in the last 30 odd years. It's
That's sick.
um was Taylor Young the guy you wanted from the start to produce this?
I mean, Taylor, like where Xavier lives, Taylor's like was like literally down the street from his
Oh,
old studio.
Oh,
Like
sick.
we could literally just walk there, and
wicked.
he's done so many projects with like Xavier and Gage and stuff, and he's just the homie. So we would just we did the EP with him, of course, and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and we were just like, yeah, let's just fucking do with Taylor, so, and Taylor shit sounds gnarly as hell. So I think it all kind of, all the shit aligned for it or whatever. So
Yeah,
just
man.
worked out.
I think what he does better than a lot of producers now is that he doesn't have a signature sound.
No, he doesn't really.
Like he kind of just gets the vibe of the band and then produces to that, and it's just I don't know how the geezer's a magician, man, I swear. But
Yeah, he's not afraid to make his shit a little dirty,
yes,
and
yeah.
And I think some people sometimes like get thrown off with that by him, because his productions, it's not every album sounds the same. Every
No.
album has like such kind of a like distinctness to it, and a lot of people I feel are so used to a lot of albums having a very very similar sound, like everyone's kind of using the same like guitar plugins or the same drum samples and stuff, and a lot of the bigger albums and stuff, it all kind of starts to blend together. And like,
Yeah.
I feel like when you get used to that sound, when you hear something that is so like different and like weird sounding, like I feel like a lot of people at first get kind of thrown off by that, and they're like, whoa, this is crazy, I don't know if I like this. But that's how albums sounded back in the day. If you go through all those like early 90s, even the 2000s, like there's a lot of albums that have kind of like weird production to them, but that's what makes them so fucking cool and like so memorable and sick,
Yeah.
So yeah, it just worked out really well with him. So
Yeah, that's cool, man. Like, did you have points of reference as to how you wanted the record to sound, or was it more just, well, here's the songs, let's see what happens, sort of thing?
yeah, I think we did. I think we gave him a couple albums, and I think even he had a couple albums that he was like I'm using these as references, and
Cool.
and yeah, I think that was more X and Wyatt who were kind of giving him those ideas. I'm sure it was like, the fucking horacles and all that shit. So
yeah.
the ones you'd expect for sure.
Yeah. It's just fascinating, man, because obviously, like, none of us have ever made a record, and like, me and you especially, we're like massive nerds for studio documentaries, aren't we?
Oh god,
Oh, they're the
yeah,
best.
mate.
We love that
Yes.
shit, man.
Yeah.
We'll like when we go and like practice, like when we're done, we'll usually just like sit on the couch for like a couple hours and either just like watch like live videos of bands or just like documentary videos of bands and shit. We geek out on that shit all the time.
Yeah, it's fascinating, man. I love all that sort of behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Dude, obviously, like, Andreas Marshall doing the album artwork, that's got to be like a dream come true, hasn't it? For like the bands that you guys grew up loving, like that's got to be.
I mean, I'm literally right now wearing
Oh,
these.
sick, mate. Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy too, because it's funny. He was not, surprisingly, he was not our first pick.
Oh wow.
And I don't think that's necessarily because any of us were like, oh, we don't want to use Andreas Marshall. I think none of us really just like put together that he's the dude that like did all these albums that we love so much.
Yeah.
And also that dude has like no social media presence or anything. So he's kind of he's kind of like a phantom. He just like lurks in the back, and like every now and then an album will like pop up by him, but you don't see him, he doesn't have an Instagram or anything like that. So like all the other artists who you're constantly seeing posting, you're like, oh, okay, this guy's in the front of my head. But we like sent out requests to a bunch of different artists, and either like we were getting ghosted or like they were like, no, don't work with new bands. And we were kind of bummed. We were like, fuck, man, like who are we gonna use? And X, I think, was up one night at like 4 a.m. just like going through metal archives, just like, who the fuck? And then he's like, who did fucking Jester Race? Goes to Jester Race and is like, oh shit. And just sent an email on a whim being like, hey man, like we're on Century Media, we love your shit, like would you be down? And he responded and was like, yeah, let's do it. And he was like, it was like perfect for the art budget and everything. It was crazy though, like we sent him the idea and like a couple little like images as like reference or whatever, and we didn't hear back from him for like months, and we were like, is he gonna send us like a rough draft or anything? Like, what's the deal? And then just like randomly one day it was just like, here you go. art's done. And we were all just like, holy shit, okay, sick. That was kind of scary, but like it worked out. So
Oh my God, man. I can't even imagine that moment of just opening your inbox up and there's like your completed album cover by this absolute art legend.
yeah, it was I think it was a really good, I think the album had already been like done by that point, and like it was basically like ready to go, and we were kind of just like waiting on that, so like finally getting that was like, yeah, so sick. And we all loved it, everyone loved it, so it wasn't one of those instances where it was like, ooh, this kind of sucks. Like, what do we do now?
It
And
must
they,
be such a wild ride for you guys, like, because you get into sort of like experience working with a legendary artist like that, and also you're in the sort of group of those sort of elite bands that kind of like only drop a demo or an EP and then instantly snapped up by like Metal Blade, Century Media,
Right.
all those big labels. So like how did that feel like, and how did that come about? Did they just reach out and like, oh yeah, like sick EP?
So yeah, it's really crazy, and for all of us, because we've all been playing in bands for fucking ever now, and this is the fastest like any of us have had a band that's like gotten snatched up, and like, as much as I want to say it's just because we're so talented and blah 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 blah, I think a lot of it is purely like luck. Not purely, but a lot of it is luck, a lot of it's timing, a lot of it's just because of the connections we've made throughout like the years of being veterans here, but essentially how it kind of happened was when we did our first shows ever. We did for our first shows, we did like a little 3-day weekend run with um it was us, Apparition, and Cruelty
Oh,
from
sick.
Japan.
sick.
Yeah,
Blimey.
super fun, super cool. And do you guys know who Mike Gitter is? You heard his name? He's
No.
I think so.
he's the A&R for Century Media.
Okay.
He's the dude who's like signed like Frozen Soul and Sanguisugabog and like a lot of the like recent Century Media bands. He's like to blame for that essentially. And and we've known him for a very long time. And he's at like every single fucking show ever. Like he's another one of these phantoms who somehow manages to show up at every single show ever. Like, it's kind of insane. But he happened to be at our first show, and he saw us play, and he was like, that was fucking sick. Like I want to like talk more with you guys and everything. And we were like, cool, for sure, and we were like trying to book more shows and everything, and we'd kind of have this back and forth with him a lot, where like it would be like one moment it'd be like, all right, we got to sign you guys, we got to do it, and then it'd be like, all right, wait, let's press the brakes a little bit, and we'd be like, okay, there's kind of this back and forth for like, I guess, a couple of years essentially. And we started talking to him that we were going to do an album, and he was like, okay, like, let's do it. Wait, no, let's pause the brakes again. And we were like, okay.
Fuck it up, mate.
And we were just like, all right, you know what? Fuck it. We'll go and let's record this album. If they want it, they want it. If they don't, fucking the homie Ben from Creator Destructor will put it out for us, because he's the fucking shit. And so we got into the studio, and if I'm remembering it correctly, I believe one of our friends hit him up and was like, yo, you fucking need to hop on this shit, like, before someone else does. And he finally came back and was like, we were like in the midst of, I don't think we had even started recording it, actually. I think we were like just about to finish the demos or something. And he was like, okay, like, I need like really polished demos that I can send to the head of Century Media. And we were like, okay, we knocked them out in like, I think like a night or two, sent it to them, and they were like, yeah, let's do it. So yeah, while while we were recording, we got the contract and got signed, and yeah, I think all of us have been waiting for this moment, and I think we're all super stoked that it just happened to be Century Media, because it's just like so many of the bands that come from Century are obviously so many bands that we've been like so heavily influenced by, you know. So
Yeah, man. It's so cool that, like you said, after you guys have been like slugging away for years in bands, that this all just seems to be like lightning in a bottle for you guys. Do you know
yeah,
what I mean? It's so cool.
yeah. I mean, that's why I say so much of it is honestly just like the timing and luck, and just, I mean, just the work we've been putting into it
Yeah,
for so long,
absolutely.
you know. So
Oh, well deserved, man. Congratulations.
thank you
Yeah.
so much. Yeah, we're stoked.
I think it's really cool that you can play on these mixed lineups as well with hardcore bands and stuff like that. Your sound kind of, it sort of can't be, it's a specific sound that but it's not really pigeonholed into, you can only tour with metal bands or you can only play on these bills. It seems that you
Yeah,
cross
yeah.
pollinate, and it's really cool.
It's cool too, because like the hardcore scene has really like, they really helped us, especially like hardcore Twitter. They really like put out for us, and I'm honestly like, Gage and Xavier have such a history in hardcore for such a long time now. Like both of them play in this band, Vamakara, and Gage plays
Yeah.
in guitar and Momentum. You know,
Sick.
so they've been in the hardcore scene forever. Me, I'm like totally fucking new to the hardcore scene. Like I was never really a hardcore kid at all. There was never really my thing, but like I've been kind of forced into it with these guys. And it's
Yeah.
been so cool because like I found out so many new bands and I'm like, holy shit, I've been sleeping on this for fucking years. And I've made so many like new friends, and that is the one thing for sure about the hardcore scene that I think is starting to finally like overlap into the metal scene a little bit more, but
Yeah,
just the like pushing up of your own bands, you know,
absolutely.
like everyone's in it to win it together, as we're like the metal scene has always been a little more like standoffish with that. I feel they've always been a little more like, I'm pushing myself, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think that's finally starting to overlap with each other, which is great, you know, and super sick.
Dude,
So
this kind of music needs it. At the end of the day, it's all aggressive and guitars
yeah,
and men shouting at you and stuff. And do you know
yeah,
what I mean? So it's,
it is really cool that like both of these genres now, I feel like nowadays you can have such a mixed bill and everyone has a good time, where like I feel like in the like 2000s 2010s, it's like if you had like a hardcore or a metal band, or like a metal core and a metal band on bills, like you constantly saw the middle fingers in the air and like people getting in fights because someone is spin kicking and like, you
yeah,
know, and
yeah.
it's like why? But now it's like everyone's just there because they just love aggressive heavy music, and it's
Yeah,
awesome. So
absolutely, mate. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. So, so what does the next sort of year or so look like for you guys, man? Like, have you got, I guess, in touring and more
we
touring?
got some stuff behind the scenes we're working on for sure. It's going to be a busy year for sure. The shit we have announced so far, next month we're rocking with Skeletal Remains down here
Oh,
in
sick.
Wicked.
Orange County for their album release show, which will be super dope.
Yeah,
And then we're hitting Milwaukee Metal Fest, which we're fucking super pumped on.
legendary.
Yeah, and then the other stuff probably get announced pretty relatively soon.
Yeah,
So,
that's cool.
but it gonna be a busy year for sure.
Wicked. You know what we're going to ask you, dude, don't you? Is the UK in any of your plans at any point in the future?
For sure, yes. I will tell
Yes.
you, we actually have already gotten a couple offers to go out there.
Oh
We
wow.
had to turn them down for various reasons. Unfortunately, I'll spill the beans after hours for you guys a little
Yeah,
bit.
Sure,
yeah,
sure.
nice one, man. Yeah, yeah.
But I think it will for sure happen sooner than later, for sure. So
Oh,
Wicked.
awesome, man. We'll show you the sights of London and stuff.
absolutely.
Yeah, that would be wicked, man. And something I just wanted to ask you quickly as well, dude. Are
Mhm.
there is there plans for more Veil Mist at any point?
Oh shit. I would definitely like to. Um, at the moment, I don't really have any plans for it. I'm always writing shit. And my main focus right now is this band.
Yeah, of course.
But
Yeah.
I'm always putting down ideas for like stuff that could be potentially that or like even another band or project. But at the moment, I'm kind of putting all my thought and gear into this band. But I definitely would down the road eventually like to do some more stuff with that
Wicked.
project
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
listened to Secrets of the Ego Chasm the other day. Oh man, it's so sick.
That's awesome. Thank you so
It's
much.
so good. I didn't even know until I saw it in your bio. So I was like, well, I have to listen to that now. It's so good, man. Honestly,
Sick.
like, yeah,
Hell yeah.
it's wicked. So Ronnie, want to get into a little bit of chat about your sort of journey into music and
Sure.
stuff, and taking you back to when you were a little nipper. Did you have a lot of music around you growing up as a kid?
Yeah, for sure. My mom was always like blasting music all the time. Uh a lot of music from all over the place, like a lot of like blues and R&B type shit, a lot of like oldies, a lot of like uh, like 80s pop, classic rock, kind of all over the place. And my dad was kind of the same way. He was always blasting a lot of like classic rock and country and bluegrass. And he played a little guitar. He was never that great, but he did have he could play a little bit. But
Mm.
I think the main thing was my dad actually worked and eventually owned a sheet music store in
Oh wow.
LA. And it used to be like it was like a sheet music and like they sold like classical instruments, like all the bassoons and violins and cellos and yada yada, yada all that shit. And he eventually took over the store and it became his, and it eventually became uh just selling sheet music, and he did that for a very very long time. So yeah, music was definitely a pretty big thing in my growing up for sure.
There it is again, like the
Guitar
guitar.
music, innit? Yeah.
Yeah.
Guitar
Yeah.
music around you when you were little. It sort
Yeah.
of steers you in that direction, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
So what was your sort of introduction then into the heavier side of music?
So I think when I was a kid, like I was kind of into all the bands that like all the kids were, like, like Blink 182. And I really loved Korn. Korn was probably like my first real like heavy band that I really got into. They were like my favorite band as a kid. Still love them. And then a dude that worked for my dad, this guy named Brian, who he was like a big shredder. He loved, like, his two favorite players were Stevie Ray Vaughan and Kirk Hammett. And
Wicked.
I think I had like just started playing guitar. And I think one year for Christmas, my dad asked him like, what album should I get him for like what's a good guitar album I should get him? And he recommended the Black Album.
Oh
Uh,
yes.
so that was like probably like my first real introduction to like heavy metal. That's not really what sold me. Like I loved that album, I still love it, but that wasn't like the one that like really like grabbed me. I think the first two albums, this answers another one of your questions too. The first two albums that I bought with my own money were sorry, I'm skipping ahead a little bit.
You
Oh,
have
dude's
been
done his
checking up,
research.
haven't you?
Yeah,
You
man.
have been checking up.
But the first two albums that I bought were it was Megadeth's Hidden Treasures
Ooh, record.
and Iron Maiden's Life After Death. And
Yes.
yeah, I brought those home, and it was kind of funny. I was like bummed with Life After Death at first because I just thought it was like a greatest hits album. I didn't realize it was a live album. I was like, what the hell? I didn't want a live album. Now looking back, that's like one of the greatest live albums ever made.
Yeah.
But Megadeth is for sure the band that like I like popped that shit in and I was like, holy shit, this is fucking cool. Like this is the coolest shit I've ever heard. Like I want to do this. Like how can I play guitar that good? Like what the hell?
Dude, like hearing like Mustaine and Marty Friedman, and do you know what I mean? Like as a kid, like
Yeah, it's kind of unreal.
Yeah.
It's nuts. You know?
yeah. I remember when I was learning to play guitar when I was young, and I took my guitar teacher. I was like, I used to take him a song, and then he'd teach me how to play it. He'd learn it by ear, and I took him Holy Wars, and he was like,
Why
Jimmy,
would you do
Jimmy,
that?
listen, let's
It ain't
start with
gonna
some
happen.
AC/DC or something, shall we? And I was like, no, man, I want to play this one. Looking back, maybe that's where I steered myself wrong, but
Hey man, shoot big, you know?
yeah,
Why not?
That's it. Yeah. Hidden Treasures is such a great record as well.
It
Like
is a really
99 Ways to
cool
Die
album.
and like Go to
Yeah.
Hell and stuff. It's so
I
sick.
think
It's underrated.
Yeah, it is very under for like a weird compilation album, but it's like I think 99 Ways to Die may have been like the first song I heard. I was just like, who's this fucking gremlin man screaming at me? Like this is the weirdest vocals I've ever heard, and I can't stop. I love them.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
So when did you first start playing guitar then? Was it around that same time?
No, so actually my parents, for some reason, I honestly don't really know why. I think it's partially, I have a feeling my mom maybe read one of those things where it's like having your kid plays an instrument like makes them fucking smarter or some shit like that. Yeah, joke's on you, mom. But she had me start playing piano when I was like, I must have been like 6 or something.
Oh, sick.
And I had this teacher who was a real fucking asshole. He was a real fucking jerk. And I got like decent at piano just because like I was kind of being forced to play, but I didn't really like it and it didn't connect with me. And you know, the dude was like teaching me like blues and jazz stuff, which is cool, but for a fucking 6-year-old kid, I was like, I don't give a shit about this, you know, like this sucks. And I just like I protested so much and I just didn't like it. And I don't know, maybe it must have been like Korn, like because I probably started listening to Korn around that age, that like I was like, okay, maybe I can play guitar. Like maybe that will be cooler. And so I talked to my parents. I was like, hey, can I play guitar instead? And they were like, okay, yeah, like you could do that. You have to play an instrument. And so my dad brought me home like a little shitty like nylon string guitar. And I had the same teacher because he taught guitar as well. And you know, I brought the guitar home and it was kind of the same thing. Like I started to progress on it, but I didn't like it. And I think partially that's because my teacher would just teach me like blues and jazz and kind of like your normal boring scale stuff, which is like, yeah, that's really good to know. But for like a 7-8-year-old kid, like I wanted to learn Korn and he wouldn't teach me it. And I couldn't figure out how to play that shit because I had no fucking idea that a 7-string guitar like even existed. And I don't think I even understood the idea of tuning a guitar like 4 steps down to get the B standard tuning, you know? So I progressed more and more, but I just didn't like it. And then eventually I got really into ZZ Top.
Oh, ZZ Top are wicked.
Dude, they're one of the greatest rock and roll bands of all time.
No question.
And my dad, I think I had like their greatest hits album, and my dad brought me home the guitar tab book for it.
Oh, wicked.
And I started learning that shit, and I was like, okay, this is like I can actually learn this. Like, this is accessible to me, and it's cool, and it's like fun and awesome. And
Yeah.
kind of after that is when I started like exploring a little more into like a lot of the classic rock bands like AC/DC and Zeppelin. And I don't think I was into like Judas Priest at that time or anything. I think that was a little later, but I was kind of exploring like the standard shit. And then I eventually found Megadeth and Iron Maiden and was like, okay, now I really, really want to play guitar. So
Yeah. Oh, that's wicked, man. So when did you? I really wanted to talk to you about Gary Moore, dude. Like,
fuck yeah,
Wild Frontier is one of the first albums I ever remember hearing. My
that's
dad's very
so
similar.
cool.
He's into metal, rock, and stuff. And I just used to, when I was little, flick through the CDs.
Mhm.
And yeah, but I remember putting Wild Frontier on with my dad's massive headphones, just sitting there. And honestly, like, Wild Frontier into Over the Hills and Far Away, like
Yeah.
that's as a 1-2 to open a record is
Mhm.
unstoppable. It's
Yeah.
unbeatable.
Yeah.
And he was the first concert I ever went to as well in
Oh,
1990.
you saw him in 90?
Yeah, dude, I'm obviously
So
a bit
you
older than you. Like,
so
I
you
was,
you you saw him during like when he was still doing like the rock kind of metal shit, huh?
yeah. So I think I saw him. He did some tunes off there, and he
Yeah.
was just getting into. I think Still Got the
Is that
Blues for You had just
oh, okay?
dropped
So
around
that's
that
probably like
time.
yeah.
So I think it was a bit of both.
Oh,
And I think it was Albert King came out on stage with him, but that was my first ever show.
holy shit.
So when I was reading that Invisible Oranges thing and Wild Frontier came up, I was like, no way. I was like, shit. Like, what just an absolutely incredible record and player that guy
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Straight up. Yeah. He's for sure one of my favorites. Definitely I try to rip him off as much as I can, you know. But I wish my story was as cool as yours. That's way cooler than my story. But I think I realistically found out about him because Nightwish had the cover of Over the Hills and Far Away.
Oh, of
And
course they did. Yeah.
I thought that song was really cool. And I was like, damn, this is a sick ass song. This is awesome. Like, wow, Nightwish wrote this really cool song. And then I have a feeling probably on like downloading music on like LimeWire or Kazaa or one of those things.
Oh, classics.
Yeah, there's another cover of that song that I think that band Fear Thing does.
Mm.
And I remember I downloaded that. I think it was labeled as like Sonata Arctica covering them or something. And I downloaded that and I was like, oh, that's cool. This band covers Nightwish too. That's sick. And then I think somewhere down the rabbit hole, I found the Gary Moore version. I was like, oh, that's cool. This guy covers Nightwish too. That's sick. And I was like, man, this dude's cover is like way better than Nightwish's. Like, this is so sick. And yeah, you know, obviously I found out it was his song. And
Yeah.
I don't know, it just I really that album just like really grabbed me. And like we're the whole band, we're super into like folk metal and even just like folk music and shit like that. And I mean, Gary's essentially kind of the first that's like the first folk metal album. I'll argue that shit, you know.
I
And
agree with you, mate.
yeah, that album just really struck a chord with me, and his guitar playing struck. And it's funny too because like I always felt like he was in such a small bubble that only like a few people like kind of really knew about him. But the more I've been like meeting a lot of these like shredder dudes and even just like you know, people are just really into this music and shit, like he is so like beloved and
Yeah.
like worshipped. And I was just like, that's so cool. Like I didn't realize like how much people like love his guitar playing. And like he's kind of this weird little like he's not, but he feels like a weird well-kept secret, like a weird legend throughout the like metal rock community, you know.
There's not many people like him who can perfect two different styles of
Yeah,
guitar
yeah,
playing. Like, I can't think. I don't think Stevie Ray Vaughan would be able to belt out a metal solo the way Gary
No,
Moore
I
does.
don't. Yeah,
It's incredible.
yeah, straight up. Yeah. Um, yeah, like I've been really getting into the band Sabaton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're I guess they're old guitarists. I guess he just quit now. But Tommy has this like whole YouTube channel where he does like covers and stuff like that. And he does like a whole bunch of Gary Moore covers. And he has a Charvel that I think he got custom shop. That's basically the have you seen that live in Sweden footage? It's like the 88 like
I probably have.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's rocking this like cherry red Charvel with the white pick guard and shit. And
Yes.
Tommy has like a replica one of that. And I guess he actually recently bought the PRS that he uses in the Wild Frontier video.
Oh wow.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's fucking cool.
Oh, I need to check that out, man. I'll get the
I'll
link.
link you it.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I need to see that so bad.
Yeah. Super sick.
So what were the first shows that you went to?
The first show I ever went to was Aerosmith and Kiss.
Oh wow,
Nice.
that's a big show for a first show.
Aerosmith sucked ass. One of the most boring sets I think I've ever sat through, and that says a lot for someone who like had never been to a concert at that point. And Kiss obviously like blew the fucking place apart. They were insane. It was amazing. And then I think the next couple shows I went to after that, I got dragged to a Santana concert.
Oh,
which like looking back, it was probably pretty sick, but like at the time I was just like, there's all these old people dancing here and shit. Even though it was probably like the exact same crowd for like the Kiss and Aerosmith concert, you know?
Yeah.
And then I think after that, it was either I got to see Van Halen.
Oh wow.
Van Hagar, which at the time I was a little bummed because it was Van Hagar. And now I kick myself in the ass for that because I've kind of like gone back and like re-listened to all those Van Hagar albums, and they're fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So good. So I'm at least like stoked like I got to see that, which was super cool. And I think my first like real metal show, it was Megadeth on the System Has Failed tour.
Oh, cool.
Which was I think Exodus opened for that, and someone else opened for that as well. I don't remember who it was, but that was awesome. One of my favorite shows I think I've ever been to. So,
dude, we just saw them live last summer, didn't we, Def? Your first time, wasn't it, at Bloodstock? And they were
Oh, mate.
Yeah, they
incredible,
were wicked, man.
Yeah, I think Megadeth is one of the bands I've seen like the most times. I think I've seen them like 5 or 6 times now. Yeah.
They're cool, man. They're one of them. They're a real kind of hit and miss live band. Like if you catch them on a bad Dave on a bad vocal day, man, it's bad. But
yeah,
like
that's so cool though, because like
yes, it is.
It's like they're really doing it.
Yeah,
exactly. They're not hiding behind anything, which is so cool. It's like Metallica. I've never seen Metallica live, but from what I've heard, it's like everyone says it's either like one of the worst shows you've ever seen or like the best show you've ever seen. That's so cool.
It absolutely is. Yeah. Oh, dude, I've seen Metallica like so many times. I'm just so like hyped to be seeing them again. I don't think I'd ever come out of there and be like, oh, that wasn't very good. I'm just like, oh, dude, Metallica.
I know. I gotta see them. Yeah.
Yeah, they're wicked, dude. So is there outside of sort of metal and stuff? What other music do you dig?
I like a lot of like I try to fuck around with a lot of classical, just because all the guitar riffs come from classical music.
Yeah, of course.
I like a lot of like soundtrack music. I like a lot of I love a lot of 80s like pop and just 80s rock and stuff like that. A lot of like 90s hip hop is really sick.
Oh, wicked.
I try to fuck around with just pop music right now too, or like whatever's popular. Like, even if I don't necessarily like it, I like to know kind of what's cool at the
Yeah.
moment. Because it's like, even if you don't like the music, you can respect the hustle and like respect the like whatever it is that makes people like love this shit so much and makes it
Absolutely.
popular, whatever it is. Um and the right, even like some of the weird pop music you listen to, and if you like sit back and like listen to like the beats or the music behind it, like sometimes it's like, damn, that's really creative and like cool and weird what they've done. So I mean, I definitely would say my playlist is pretty much like always like metal, hard rock
Yeah.
adjacent, but here and there I'll kind of have a moment where I'm listening to something else a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I read an interview you did. I can't remember the site where um you listed sort of your where you got inspiration from your guitar playing from, and I know you said like films and gaming, and you get a lot of inspiration from things like that as well. And Dad, you've been dying to talk about like gaming and stuff like and I think you said fantasy books as well and things like that that you take inspiration from. So what are you reading and playing and stuff?
God, I don't even remember what interview that would have been because I haven't done that many of them.
Oh man.
uh
Sorry,
I'm
dude.
I'm I'm kind of a bad reader, but I'm trying to read more, like
Oh, okay.
specifically because of that. And I'm being an idiot right now, and I'm trying to read the Silmarillion,
Oh, mate,
which
that's a
is,
difficult read, bro.
yeah, like I'm being a cheater, and I'm like watching like deep dives into it as well, so that like when I read it, I'm able to process it a little bit more.
Yeah.
But that's on my uh my agenda right now. There's one book specifically that I really love. That do you guys know the band Sabat, the UK one?
Yes. Yeah.
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 So their album Dreamweaver, which is like one of my favorite albums of all time, it's based off this book Way of the Weird, which that's like one of my favorite books of all time. That shit rocks. And if you read it and like listen to the album kind of simultaneously, like it all starts to like fold together, and it's super cool.
Oh, sick. And you're a big Warcraft fan then, I guess,
I'm
with your
big
RFS model.
I'm a big Warcraft junkie for
Nice.
sure.
Nice. That like consumed every day of my life for like 15 years, and I wouldn't even regret it. I'd do it all over again if I could.
Dude, during high school, like when vanilla came out, me and my friends were fucking horrible. So at one point, I think this was before like even Burning Crusade came out. Like I was playing a level 60 hunter, and I was in a okay guild. We weren't anything crazy. Like we did Molten Core and Onyxia a whole bunch, and like I think we attempted to do Blackwing's Lair and got fucking wrecked real hard. But my dude was geared out. I think I had like full giant stalker with like the dragon stalker
Oh,
helm and
sick.
everything, and I had the rock Dalar, the bow back in the day. And I think I was just getting really tired of the game, and I was like, you know what, fucking over this shit, I'm gonna sell my account. So I sold my account on eBay for like $500,
Yeah.
Fucking
and I
hell.
bought a new guitar with it.
Nice.
And I go back to school, and like all my friends were still playing WoW, and it was like every day at lunch, all the talk conversations would be World of Warcraft, and I was just like, can we fucking talk about something else, please? And it just got to the point where I was just like, all right, I guess I'm buying another fucking account. Thanks, guys.
Oh man, so good. I used to love that game, man.
Yeah, I'll like I kind of stopped playing it after that point. And then like I didn't play it up until I think it might have been Warlords of Draenor came out.
Oh
and
yeah.
me and a couple friends kind of went back to it, which was kind of cool because like I'd missed so many expansions by that point. What it was like Wrath of the Lich King,
The best one.
Pandaria, yeah, so sick. Pandaria, and I think maybe there was one more in between that. I don't remember.
Oh,
But
Cataclysm. Was Cataclysm there? I think so.
Cataclysm. That's right. Yeah. And we like played that for a little bit, and then kind of everyone fell off, and like I stopped playing. And now I'll kind of like hop back on here and there. Like I think when Legion came out, I played for a little bit, and then like Shadowlands, Battle Azeroth, I played for a little bit, and I'm still playing a little bit right now as well.
Oh, cool. Fair enough.
Yeah. So I'll always kind of hop back on just to like try out the expansions and see how they are and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So,
once it's got 6 in, mate.
But for sure, during high school, me and my friends were we were little fucking deviants with that game, dude.
Just grinding wool cloth.
Oh my god, yeah, straight up.
Oh man. Anyway, look, I've been reading these books that they're by a guy called Tad Williams, and Kyle from Undeaf like actually got me onto them, and I'm just
sick.
obsessed with them. And there's I can't remember what they're called. It's the Dragonbone Chair. Is the first one, and it's a series of like 4 books. But like, if you get time to dive into them, you totally should. They're fucking wicked,
dude, for sure. Yeah, link me that shit. I'll
I
put
will.
that on my save
sick.
list.
Nice, wicked.
It was
It's like a different language for me and Jim.
You don't know.
It's like I'm so impressed with you two talking about Shadowlands, Cataclysm. It's like, what the fuck? I don't know what's going on. I know I did miss it. Would you go back, Daz? Would you go back?
Yeah, I wouldn't give a fuck, mate. Like,
you'd go back. You'd dip in, innit? You'd dip in, wouldn't you?
I'd quit my real life. And I'll be there.
You know, the one thing I do like about it now is that, like, if you're not doing like the whole classic thing they do, if you're just playing like retail, you can actually like not be a degenerate addict with it and like actually make progress in the game. Like, I'm funny. I don't play with any friends because I kind of don't want to, because I feel like if I start playing with friends, it's gonna be like, okay, I gotta play it now.
That's the thing that gets you. That's the main thing that gets you, isn't it? Is the connections you make with other people and stuff.
Yeah.
Like
I don't even talk to anyone online or anything.
Don't even use the trade chat or anything.
Nope. Like, I'll play a little bit and I'll just put it down,
So the moral of the story is don't have any friends.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I met, like, our guild was like so tight that like we had like a bunch of them come over here, like from sort of Sweden and Norway and all that sort of stuff, and we all met up in Bristol.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was really cool. Yeah, so they never had KFC out there, like in some places, so took them to KFC. Yeah, super.
See, I understand that. Yeah, I've understood something from
dude, it was darkstars.de. I was reading your interview.
Oh, then that was recent. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So dude, you're going on tour a lot in the near future. Have you got like comfort TV shows and films and games and stuff that you go back to when you're trying to pass the time away on tour and stuff?
For sure. I always try to get like stuff I haven't seen. I try to play games on tour and it kind of never works out. Like I'll get a little car sick, like if I'm playing something in like a van or something like that. So I kind of steer. Usually I have a Switch and I'll usually end up bringing it, but it's hard for me to pull it out. But I do try to get mainly like new stuff. Like I'll do a lot of YouTube videos. Like I'll get a lot of like lore videos from like different games or stories and shit like that.
Oh, wicked.
God, is there anything like specifically that I'll put that's kind of comfort? I don't know. I feel like I kind of try to change it up every time. I try to put shit that I just never seen. I feel like the more you've put something on that like you've seen it before, like I feel like time doesn't go by as fast because you kind of know, like, you're like, oh, I'm 30 minutes into this, you know, because this is about to happen. So I try to keep it kind of new, you know.
Yeah, no,
There's
that's
so
cool.
much stuff out there as well, isn't there? To just, especially with YouTube, gives you the algorithms of all this other shit that you've not seen, and you know, keeps
Straight
shit
up.
exciting.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, are you more like a comedy dude or an action or sci-fi
I'm
or
super horror. I
oh wow,
love
okay.
horror.
Oh, definitely, that's your man there.
um trying to get more into a lot more like fantasy stuff as well. Sci-fi I'm a little hit or miss with. Like, I'm funny with sci-fi. Like, I'm not like a Star Wars dude or like Star Trek. I feel like I should rewatch though, like Star Wars at least. I feel like I should rewatch it. I'd probably like it more. But like when it comes to like sci-fi, I like I don't know, like Alien or Aliens or like Predators or
Event Horizon.
Event Horizon, yes.
Yeah, great film.
Yeah, I like the kind of the shit that dabbles more in horror. Space is fucking scary, man. Space.
Have you ever played Dead Space?
Oh, absolutely. It's one of the greats.
That's such a fucking wicked game, man. I was actually like shitting myself playing that game, man. It
the
was terrifying.
The first one especially is so fucking good. Have you played the like, was it a remake or remaster that they did recently?
I think it was a
I'm
remastered.
Not so sure.
I think it was a remastered one.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
I
haven't played it yet.
I haven't touched it. No, me neither. I kind of dipped out of gaming like recently.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Sad times, man.
Just don't got the time, man.
I feel it.
So, dude, you've been put on death row, probably because your solos are too sick or something.
No.
Yeah, like this dude can't exist.
Ronnie,
anymore,
what you
man.
done, man? Look where you are now.
Give the other guitarist a chance. Like, what's your death row meal?
Throwing a curveball at me.
Yeah, this is a new one we've recently introduced.
You bastards. God, probably like a sick ass sushi platter. Probably my death row meal.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you got some good places good spots around you?
Oh yeah. 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 There's so much good shit out here in LA.
Dude, you know what?
For sure.
I've never tried sushi.
It's so good. Would you, or are you just like, fuck no, like no raw fish for me?
I think I would have been fuck no a few years ago. I reckon I would try it. If you were like, look, dude, this is some good stuff for a beginner. I won't steer you wrong. Try this. Yeah, I think I would.
I mean, if you like fish, I feel like you'll fucking love it. Some people are like they love cooked fish, but they won't fuck with it. But I don't know. I love that shit. It's so good, and you can eat so fucking much of it, and like you still like feel fine afterwards. You're not like incapacitated for like the rest of the day. Like you'll eat a fucking mountain of it, and you'll just be like, yeah, I'm cool. Like give me half an hour and I'm chill. You know.
Yeah, it's yeah, that is a healthy option, man. I was like, when we chatted to Eric from Gate Creeper, didn't we? And he was just giving us like the most. He was like, basically, you're gonna die anyway very soon. So
that's a good point. Actually, I didn't really think about that. Maybe, yeah, I guess I didn't. I think I just thought my favorite meal. I think
that's basically.
Yeah, but I feel like if it's death row, maybe I should go a little crazier. You know, we'll deep fry all the sushi. How about that?
Deep fried sushi.
That's pretty banging, actually.
Yeah. And what beverage are you washing it down with?
Some sparkling water.
So healthy, man.
Or maybe a coffee or something. I don't know. I don't really drink much anymore, so I don't know. Oh, okay. You know what? Actually, let's do like an Oreo shake or something.
Wow, there you go.
Yes, mate. Now you're talking.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ronnie's definitely, dude. You're definitely gonna be the healthiest person in that. I'm gonna make a list of all the the death row meals from people we speak to.
Yeah.
On a health scale.
I think that's a facade.
Dude, so we do the either or round at the end. We're
Okay.
gonna give you some questions. You just got to choose one or the other. And
Sure.
I'll put some of these are wound us, dude. So I will apologize up front for some of these. The first one is Dokken or Sabotage.
Oh.
First one in.
Okay. I think I'm gonna go Sabotage. Just because I think I love Dokken. They definitely have a lot of albums with a lot of filler on them, for sure.
Yeah.
They have a lot of like kind of bad, kind of more poppy songs and like kind of like whack ballads. For Sabotage. Yeah, you know what? Sabotage for sure. Definitely Sabotage.
Sick. Very quickly, dude. What's your favorite Dokken album?
I think is it Tooth and Nail?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that the one that has like lightning strikes on it?
Yes, it is, mate. Yeah.
I think I go from that to the oh my god, I'm blanking on the fucking names. The one with like Kiss of Death and Mr. Scary and shit like that. Between those two, I think are my favorites.
Yeah, wicked. I only discovered them recently. But I think
shit.
Yeah, Under Lock and Key.
Yeah, that's a good one
so
too.
many bangers. Yeah. Wicked, man.
Well, it's a wound of a choice. Anthems to the Welkin at Dusk or the Somber Lane.
Jesus.
So savage.
Maybe Somber.
Anthems to the Somber Lane.
I think I'm gonna go Anthems on that one.
Wicked. I just want to very quickly, sorry, I have to thank you, dude, for that that inspiration list you did on Invisible Oranges, because I'd never delved into what's the last Dissection album? I'm blanking on it. Rain.
Rain Chaos.
Yeah, I'd never delved into it. And I listened to it the other day, blew my mind.
We love that album, man.
Holy
like
shit.
Yeah, like people like to shit on that album because it's like, you know, not like true black metal or whatever, but like it's an insane album. The riffs are so good, the production is so good. We love that album for sure.
Yeah, man. Big thanks for introducing me to
for
that.
sure. Definitely.
Right, we're going with Ozzy Osbourne tracks. Over the Mountain or The Ultimate Sin?
Ooh. Ultimate Sin, I think.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
Jakey Lee, for sure, is like one of my top boys. Over the Mountain is a fucking good song though, goddamn. I think that's like one of the coolest like Randy solos in that. But I think I'm going Ultimate Sin for sure.
Yeah.
The crazy housewife era Ozzy.
Yeah, he looks like everyone's auntie, doesn't he? Testament or Exodus?
Oh.
Sorry, man. I apologize. I was scrolling through your Instagram and I was like, oh, he's got a Testament shirt on in that one. So that's going down.
I'd probably say Testament on that one, but that's like a real close one. Like, I don't know who I like more, Gary Holt or Alex Skolnick. Like, both of those dudes are just like so fucking good.
Yeah,
I got to punish Alex Skolnick a little bit. We got to play with them. Metal Injection did this little festival, and I got to go over and kind of dork out on him for a minute. It was cool.
Oh, wow, man.
He was a big dork too, so I didn't feel as awkward punishing him. But
what a player, man. Yeah, I think I would go Testament as well. What would you take, Def? You're the other thrash.
I would probably take Testament.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Definitely.
Yeah.
At War with Reality or Surgical Steel?
I think At War.
Ooh.
That's a good one
Yeah,
though too. Surgical Steel is fucking bomb. I think I listened to At War with Reality more though, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 of the great metal comeback albums.
Oh,
And I don't
absolutely.
think At War gets enough credit.
It's so good. Yeah.
Latter Day At the Gates don't get enough credit. Like
Yeah.
what they did brilliantly is they didn't just come back and ape Slaughter of the Soul. Like they sound they're a different band.
It's
so
it's kind of,
dark and like,
yeah, it's kind of honestly surprising too, like how like experimental they kind of gotten. Like
yeah,
you wouldn't expect them to be a band to kind of like branch out on their sound a little bit more than they really do. But yeah, like especially that like last album, like they did some weird funky shit on that.
brilliant,
know?
man. It's so good.
Yeah.
Right, Ronnie, we're finishing with 2 Judas Priest classics.
Oh boy.
This is a fucking wounder, mate. Electric Eye or the Sentinel?
Oh, Sentinel.
Oh, no
Sentinel.
hesitation.
No hesitation.
No hesitation. Well done,
Defenders is my second favorite album from them for sure. So,
oh, dude, yeah. Screaming for Vengeance, I think is my number 1. Priest. I think Electric Eye is my favorite Priest song.
I mean, it's such a fucking legendary track. You know.
What's your favorite Priest album then?
Painkiller.
There you go. It's again like another comeback record that of sorts. Yeah, amazing. Dude, thank you very much for taking the time to chat to us this evening, dude. Honestly, that hour and 10 minutes has just absolutely flown by. Like,
yeah, straight up, for sure.
we're gonna have to do this again, man. Absolutely.
Yeah, you'll have to get the other dudes on for sure. They have such interesting stories as well, you know. So,
oh, bro, honestly, if we can hook them up, like, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, completely.
Definitely.
So yeah, thanks for taking the time again, dude, to chat to us. And if you haven't checked out Dead Mother Moon yet, like, make sure you get on that record, because like the you said at the start, like, people saying like the album of the year stuff. Well, I think it's gonna be like well
top 10 for you,
right
Jim,
up.
maybe top 5.
Maybe top 1 at the moment. So no spoilers, but yeah, it's going to take a lot to shift that
top
record.
top one.
Hey man, if that King Diamond album comes out or that Merciful Fate comes out this year, I won't hold it against you. Don't worry.
Dude, we know that's not coming out this year.
I know.
It's never coming.
Don't tell me that though.
I know, we're living that same pain, bro, honestly. Yeah, so thanks everyone for listening to Bangers and Mosh. We'll be back very soon. Until then, party on, dudes.